possession of cannabis. And that was when I was a young man. I knew that happened. And over the years, we can talk about many men and women and even children, because they lock up a 17-year-old youth for selling cannabis sugarcane on the school premises. And when you look at that, that's a businessman. When a person can go out there and take a product and bring it, that he can make some money so he can graduate at the end of his class, at the end of his semester. And he's being arrested and take out to school. Education, finish. A job, you gotta look about maybe cleaning the street or work for somebody else. So they are controlling our youth's mind by the works of their hand. And tonight, we are going to present this discussion in a manner whereas question will be asked and answer will be given. We're not up here to just come and preach to y'all because some information y'all don't know already. We're just going to add to the information. When you have information, you can go about and make a proper decision. These government need to hear what we have to say. And the only so they're going to know what we have to say is when we go out there collectively. One voice. Not segregated into each little corner and they see that we are segregated and they can control us, but that's what they want. They want us to be a little fraction here, a little fraction there, and a little fraction over there, so we don't have any power. So what we see tonight, we need to come together. We need to have one voice. We need to present ourselves to these people and let them know that we need them to do something about this plant. The plant is not a criminal. It is the individual is the criminal. They don't take the plant to prison. They take us to prison. And the reason why they take us to prison is because the plant is a Schedule I drug. And the reason why they put it on a Schedule I drug is because of their gains. And that was done in 1932, if not mistaken. And we are looking at it and say, if you can do something, you can change what you have done many years ago. You do it with a stick of a pen, you can do the same thing again with a stick of a pen. You don't need to take up guns, we don't need no bomb to change this. All we need is a collective mind and we can make things done. So tonight I'm saying, let's open our ears, let's open our meditation, let's think about what we are going to do and what we are saying. Let's ask questions and let demand answers. Now when we leave here tonight, it's not that we're just going to talk and talk and talk and then we're just going to leave from here, we just go to our homes and then nothing is being done. A referendum is going to be there. Something you're going to sign something so we can take to these people and let them know that voices out there need to be heard. And from the voices heard, we need action. And the action is take the drug, take this plant from being a Schedule I drug. Then from doing that, the plant is no more illegal. So you now possessing that plant will not be a criminal. And that's all we're asking for. The first step is a moratorium. Then the next step is taking it off the Schedule I drug, and then all things will fall in place. So tonight, I'm going to say that I'm going to pass over the mic to King Sagaifu. And the way we're going to flow this is, I'm going to ask questions to the elders, them, to the priests, and to Sagai, and to King Frankai. And the answers that will be given, I sure know that some of the answers, you will be amazed of the things that's going to be said. And ask questions about them. We're going to go for about 45 minutes. And one thing I would like to say, if you have your phone on, put it on silent for me, please, so there is no interruption. Let's keep this thing flowing. And I'm saying, tonight is the start of a dawn, of a new day. A new day where cannabis sativa, not marijuana, because we don't speak Spanish, we speak English. So let's call it by its rightful name, Cannabis Sativa Indica Hemp. And we're saying that tonight we're going to make sure that each individual, when you leave from here, you will be well informed, that you can go and inform somebody and even your family about the plan and the holistic manner in which we should go about legalizing. And I'm saying tonight, let's be humble, open-minded, and with a sweet talk, let us all open our ears and hearts to the oneness upon this table tonight. And I'm saying, let in fact I now say, open up a meditation and his presentation towards the Cannabis Sativa. In fact,
Giving thanks. Giving thanks and blessed Lord. Giving thanks for our verse. And let us greet and acknowledge the name of the Father Almighty. And I acknowledge them to His Imperial Majesty, El Selassie I, Jah Rastafari. Let me say, give thanks to the Silcotton Institute for providing this forum of discussion on this topic and in the past, and I'm sure in the future on other topics too. Because that is one of the things that is sadly lacking in the Antiguan society. Reasoned deliberations on certain issues or on important issues and topics. We find that most of these important topics and issues are usually clouded with some kind of political partisan considerations, which take it into the realm of emotion and really unreason on many occasions, This particular forum on the herb, hemp, cannabis is quite timely also too. From two areas I look at it as to be very, very timely. For one, we know that at the next heads of government meeting of CARICOM, the person who will be the chairman of that heads of government of CARICOM, which is Ralph Gonzalez, has proposed to his other heads that the topic of marijuana, herb, hemp, cannabis be seriously considered. And he made a point of stressing that it be seriously considered because, as he said himself, a lot of what we have heard about herb and a lot of the discussion and deliberations about herb have been very much in the realm of emotion, a lot of lies, and what one book has been saying, a lot of lies, misconceptions, half-truths, and unconsidered research. So that he's calling on the CARICOM heads to have a serious deliberation about the herb, marijuana, hemp, cannabis. And I, as Rastafari, who have been in the forefront of the utilization of the herb in all its various forms, consider, and I have put that personally to Minister Gonzalez, Prime Minister Gonzalez, that it's I and I, Rastafari, that have to inform the heads as to the question of herb. I and I have been bearing the brunt of the repression against it and have been promulgating its sacramental and other uses for such a time. So that this particular deliberation here this evening is extremely timely in that respect. The Silcotton Institute, who also foster the website, the internet site, Decriminalizing Hemp Anu, which is another wellspring of information about the herb, have recently established contacts with other groups in the Caribbean who are in the lobby towards the legalization of herb. And it is out of deliberations such as these that the Joint Caribbean Lobby is looking to put forward a proposal as to the various aspects of our attitude towards the herb then, that we can put it out to the ministers even before they begin the deliberations in July, which will be the heads of government meeting in July when they'll be talking about the herb. That will be a prime matter on on the agenda. And so from this here, we're hoping to develop such a project paper, project proposal, a policy statement on the herb, which will be provided to the political heads here in Antigua and Barbuda, not only the Honorable Prime Minister and the ruling regime, but also to the leader of the opposition and to the other political faction. We are calling on them to at least be aware of what I am saying about the herb, and for them to come out and publicly make a stance and say what they feel also too. Let us say too that this whole question of the herb and the push towards legalization, decriminalization is nothing new in Antigua and Barbuda or in the world. Recently we see the CNN coming up with something with Raul Gonzalez making the declaration that the CARICOM heads are going to discuss it. It has been very, very much in the public eye. But going back as much as 10 years ago, I would just inform our listeners here and you, the distinguished audience, of an article prepared by a young Antiguan by the name of Jerry Francis. It's entitled Introduction of Industrial Hemp in Antigua, and it's to the House of Representatives, State of Antigua and Barbuda, State Capital in St. John's. And it's dealing with industrial hemp, economic viability, and political concerns, where he goes into the whole question of the growing of the hemp for industrial uses, etc. I can also make you aware and point out that in 1997, a historic case in the High Court of Antigua, the High Court of Justice, Constitutional Jurisdiction is really the OECS Supreme Court, a civil suit 191 of 1996 in the matter of Section 18 of the Constitution of Antigua and Barbuda, and in the matter of the Supreme Court redress, that's between IMAN and the Commissioner of Police and the Attorney General. And this case, which was mounted in the High Court, was claiming Rastafari rights as a religion to exercise the use of the herb for sacramental purposes. And Section 18 of the Constitution that is referred to here is the section in the Constitution guarantees the right of religious observance and practice, so that you can say that whatever you want to say your religion is, they can't prevent you from saying that. If you want to say I want to worship the mic here, they can't really stop you from doing that, unless you're impeding on somebody else's freedom or rights, etc. So the case that was mounted since 1996 and was heard in 1997 in front of Justice Kenneth Benjamin was declaring that right. Well, the judge made certain declarations there and so on and so forth without actually coming to the crux of the matter to ask, but he threw it out that, well, it is in the court of the legislators. But I'm just bringing up these to show that this is not the first time, and not because we see CNN and so on this thing currently, and a number of other institutions now making a lot of noise about the herb. But even here in Antigua, from a very long time ago, the whole lobby towards that has already begun, towards bringing out the facts about herb. I want to say here and make a declaration which I think can bear no contradiction, that herb, hemp, cannabis is the savior and can be the savior of Antigua and Barbuda. I say that with no apologies whatsoever. Herb, hemp, cannabis can be, if properly utilized and functioning, the savior of Antigua. And in fact, I can go further to say that the herb, the hemp, the cannabis can be the savior of the earth. Can be the savior of the earth. There are two main threats to environment, ecology, to the earth degradation. There are two main threats towards such. One is deforestation, that's the cutting down of the forest. It is estimated that 296 million acres of forests worldwide have been cut down in the last 20 years. 40% of these trees that were cut down, almost half, were used for the production of paper. As a result of the deforestation over these last 20 years, as you can see, 296 million acres, 27,000 species of life of different forms, insects and other things, become extinct every year. So that the deforestation is having a detrimental effect on our environment, on our ecology, on the earth, or Mother Nature, Mother Earth itself. The second other major threat towards our environment, our ecology, our beloved Mother Earth, is the use of fossil fuels. The use of the oil and so that they dig up out of the earth. The use of this, the burning of these carbon fuels, which we know also is contributing to global warming and again to the destruction of our ecology. The cutting down of the forest is weakening our ecosystem. It is weakening and taking away the topsoil erosion worldwide, and it is leading to a depletion in our watershed or our water sources, so that at one time you're affecting the earth itself with topsoil depletion, the weakening of the ecosystem, and the damaging of our watershed. Now, biofuels or fuels made from things like hemp, like cannabis, and from other materials too, but principally from hemp, herb cannabis, because it makes the best in these things. It can produce, and it has been shown in studies in Hawaii, for example, and is currently producing as much as 90% of the energy used in the state of Hawaii. And this is something coming out from since 1990. So that's 13 years ago. So just to give you an idea then, how these two major threats to our environment, to our ecology, to our Mother Earth, can be prevented by the proper utilization of hemp, herb, both in the manufacture of paper and in the use of biofuels. Now when we're talking about Antigua now, and I say that herb, hemp, marijuana can save Antigua and Barbuda. When we say save, we are talking about looking towards the true development, as they talk about economic development then, of Antigua and Barbuda. And true economic development depends on certain factors. It depends, first of all, on exploiting, using properly what the economists would call the area of comparative advantage, where a country, a nation, a region possesses a comparative advantage. In other words, if they're better at this than other places, comparatively, because everybody can produce the same thing by and large, but if you have a comparative advantage, and certainly where we in Antigua and Barbuda have a comparative advantage would be in the area of agriculture. In the area of agriculture, and certainly in the production of hemp and herb, as those of us in the field would happen to know, that this is an area in which the Caribbean as a whole possesses a distinct comparative advantage. Secondly, in other aspects that you're looking for true development, the Caribbean and other third world countries have been relegated over history to be producers of primary products, where they're producing some kind of raw material for the factories and the industries of North America and Europe. So that if one wants to look towards true development in that sense, then one has to look to get into secondary and tertiary productions. And it is in this area again that hemp, the herb, provides the area in which Antigua can get into in that respect. And the third aspect where we're looking for, and we hear the economists even today talking about this whole thing, is in diversification. Coming away from the one crop type of economy that existed through our colonial past and which still exists today, where there's only one main driver of the economy, and diversifying by getting into other areas. I'm suggesting then that herb provides the prime example where we can get into primary production on an agricultural thing where we have a comparative advantage, where we can also get into the secondary and tertiary aspects of production, which are the value-added aspects of production, so that we will no longer be just sending sugarcane overseas to bring back Cadbury chocolates or the sweeties or the refined sugar back into our country. We'll be doing that, the secondary and tertiary products from the primary production will be done right here in Antigua. And what are these areas in which hemp then can provide us for this sort of industrial growth? In the area of paper and textiles, hemp is the main aspect of the aspect of paper production. Hemp has been used over time in the whole question of paper and textile fabric production. In a 1995 article in the New York Times, one of the big designers out there in the world, designer Ralph Lauren, admitted that a great percentage of the fabric that he was using was in fact hemp. The article was entitled, "The World's Oldest Fabric is Now Its Newest," by showing that Ralph Lauren had been secretly using hemp fiber in his clothing lines since 1984. Another big designer, again Calvin Klein, had declared in that same article, "I believe that hemp is going to be the fiber of choice in both the home furnishing and in the fashion industries." So, just pointing out the areas in which hemp can be used in manufacture, in textiles, fabrics. The main designers out there are looking towards that as the fabric of choice. It has many advantages over cotton and the other sorts of fabrics. Cotton is one of the crops that they call it the pesticide king. It uses a great amount of pesticides, and it uses a great amount, and it needs a great amount of water. Hemp gets over those things. Hemp has no natural predators, no natural things that attack it. Very few natural things, so that you don't have to use this tornado killing pests and so on. Pests don't usually trouble the herbs. So in the area of paper and textiles particularly, hemp can be extremely beneficial, and if Antigua and Barbuda were to get into that production, it would provide a great economic lift. It would provide an area producing cloth, making clothing, etc., without having to import from other sources and from overseas. In the second area in which hemp industrially can be utilized effectively is in the whole question of building materials. A company in France by the name of Isochamp, a French company, they have already built 250 hemp houses. Another manufacturer in South Africa boasts that his house, a large structure, is made of hemp from the carpet to his roof. So that the possibilities of using the hemp fiber is great out there, and it's another area where if Antigua and Barbuda were to get into this, then we would, as Jerry Francis has already pointed out, would be a very extremely beneficial thing in providing employment, in providing economic activity going forward. What they're building from this French company is a process, a method to process the stalk into insulation material and a lightweight substitute for concrete. That's what they're calling out there now in the places where they're making it. Hempcrete. The hempcrete, I am told, is half the weight of the concrete that we know, but it has twice the tensile strength. So for half the weight, you're getting twice the tensile strength. Now, this company is telling us that 1 hectare of hemp produces about 60 cubic meters of the building material. A hectare is just under 2.5 acres. So from 2.5 acres, you can get enough of this building material to insulate and to build a house that is 1,300 square foot.
Mr. Prime Minister,